welcome to another episode of Shou Talks. Now, today is more like a little bit of a venting session, and I'm also going to tie it into a concept, and I want to talk about breaking points, and that is because I have reached mine with a few people, and it's that time of year where you got to start weeding out some humans out your life, and it's not necessarily all the way bad, or sometimes there are just some people that don't need to grow with you, don't know how to grow with you, aren't made to grow with you. They always talk about how you have friends that can be for the seasons. You have friends that are there for a reason, and then you have, I forgot what the third one was, but anyway. So before I jump into hitting your breaking point and kind of where you go from there, kind of want to give some background on how I've gotten to my breaking point, and not for one particular person. I think I've reached my breaking point for BS in general. So if you are going to try to feed me BS, oh baby, I'll be ready for you. And I have no problem telling you that I feel like what you're saying to me is BS. You can take it as it is. I'm just going to let you know what I'm feeling. I have a lovely reputation of not having a filter. I have a lovely reputation of saying exactly how I feel in that moment. I don't see that as a bad thing. I feel like I don't hesitate and I don't sugarcoat, because I want you to know exactly where I stand on a certain situation. I don't want there to be any confusion. I don't want you to go home and be like, well, I know she said this, but is it possible that she might have? No, I said what I meant. And I want you to feel that. I want you to see it. I want you to know it. I want you to think about it 4 or 5 days later or years later, I don't know, and no, nah, this is what Shou meant. No confusion at all. So I can, for as long as I can remember, I've always been the go-to person. I've always been the problem solver. I've always been the banker. I've always been the counselor, the, enforcer, whatever it is that anybody needed. I was that person. How? I have no idea. I promise y'all, I did not pick this life. I did not. I want to say probably the family structure that I grew up with was always helping those around you. Your family is all you have. Your family is your everything. Your family, you got to ride or die for your family no matter what. And in my adult life, I've come to realize how false that statement is. Now, not to say your family is not all you have. It's not, but there are factors in there. You can have someone who's family, and yet that person can be toxic. Now, is that someone that you want to put in your mind that that's all you have? A toxic person is all you have? No. You have relatives, you have family, you have blood. Depending on your relationship status with this person, they can fall into any 3 of those categories. I got a few people I consider relatives. I have fewer people that I consider family. And then there are those that are just blood. I have friends who have been promoted to family status. And it's because I've seen you ride for me when I never asked you to. So I think it's important, especially when you are reaching your breaking point with people, or just with how your life is or how you're managing your life. I think it's important to also recognize the support system that you have. Also recognize the people who kind of help you stay away from hitting your breaking point. So back to, I've always been the go-to person. I've always been the call people make when they need money. I'm the call people make when they need advice. I'm the call people make when they got to pull up on somebody. Like, and mind you, I don't fight. I am not a fighter. But I, for some strange reason, am that call when we need to pull up. I think it's because I'm big, y'all. I've just always been that person that people could depend on. And I don't have a problem with that. I am a lovely Capricorn woman. I am a helper. I am a fixer. I am a problem solver. The bad thing, however, is that I take people's problems and I make them mine. I carry the weight of situations that have nothing to do with me. And that becomes a problem because a lot of the time people get comfortable. People get comfortable knowing that there's someone else that's going to take care of their problems. People get comfortable knowing, oh, I ain't got the money, but I'm going to just hit up Shou and she got me. A lot of the time those people are your family. And if you were raised the way that I was raised, then you were taught to always give to your family. Always do whatever your family needs you to do. It doesn't matter if they respect you or not. It doesn't matter if in public they treat you like sugar honey iced tea. I'm trying not to cuss, y'all. Those things don't matter. Because at the end of the day, that's your family. That's all you have. That's what I've been programmed to think. So for 30 plus years, I have bent over backwards, backflips, cartwheels, somersault for family. Only to finally get to my breaking point and say, no, I'm not doing this anymore. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is where the drama began. And when I say drama, it's not necessarily because I'm affected by it. I mean, everybody else will look at it and be like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. And whereas I'm chilling. And I think the reason why I can sit back and chill and just watch things unfold is because I know what part I play in any situation. I'm definitely not on here trying to say that I'm perfect. Trust me. I know I am flawed. I know that I have a tendency of, diarrhea mouth. I know that I can say things to hurt your feelings. But what I also know is I don't just get there. I usually give you a warning, child, like, hey, this is what I'm feeling. This is where this conversation might go. If you don't want it to get there, I think the topic should change. Now, at that point, I'm giving you an assist. I am telling you, hey, I feel a little rumbling happening here. I don't really know where my words gonna go. So I'm gonna need you to either cut this conversation or run for cover. Because once I start getting to going, I don't really know what's gonna come out. And I can't be held liable if your feelings get hurt. I can't. This right here is my disclaimer. I promise you, I don't never just go off just to go off. Now, for people who really know me, understand that. So if they ever hear a story where they're like, oh man, Shou went off on so-and-so and da-da-da-da-da, they go, what'd they do? I don't start things with people. There's no point. I don't start things with people now. I can say that because I think I'm at the point in my life where I'm sorry, and I don't know if this sounds bad to say, but there isn't really anything people do to affect me enough for me to care. Does that make sense? Everybody in my mind should just be living their own life. We have one goal, and that's just to make it to the next day and the day after that. And, everybody just wants to be happy. That's how I see it. But there are some people in life that just want more from you. There are people in life who feel like you have to contribute to their success. You have to contribute to their happiness. You have to contribute to them. And it's like, okay, so if I'm doing all of this contribution, what are you doing? Exactly. If I'm growing for you, what are you doing? So when you detach yourself, because you finally hit your breaking point, when you detach yourself and you decide to move differently, oh man, you're the worst person in the world. Oh man, you picked your team. Oh man, you don't have my back no more. You're supposed to be family. What? Because I chose me? When you've been choosing you this whole time? I decided to choose me and now I'm the bad guy? Y'all, when I tell y'all that I'm actually really sitting, I'm sitting comfortably as the bad guy. I don't even care. It don't even faze me no more that I am considered the bad guy. Just because I move on vibes. I move on energy. I move on vibrations. So I want to say that the last few people that I have decided to cut off, it just, something about that just felt right. You know, it's kind of like when you're in a toxic relationship and you finally break up with your man and you're like, people are like, how you feel? I feel relieved. It's like a weight was taken off my shoulders. It's like you don't even waste your time getting upset. Like with me, I don't get upset with a lot of situations. I will think. I may overprocess it because I want to see what part, and I don't overprocess to try to understand so much. I more so overprocess to see what I did wrong. What did I say that I could have adjusted? Am I wrong in what I said? Because like I said, when I get going, it's like diarrhea mouth. So, and it's almost as if I black out. So I just want to make sure that if there was a confrontation, that I was still able to deliver the message without being disrespectful. I was still able to deliver the message without it coming back to me for people to be like, nah, you was wrong for that. Or if it got there, I want to be told that. You know, I once again, I feel like I got to put Smooth on payroll. I got that from Smooth. You know, I want to say I had a really, 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 really bad blowout with a really good friend. And this was one of the ones that literally broke that one didn't feel good, y'all. And you know, for the record, we are cool now. It's unfortunate that things will probably never be the way they were, but we are at the point where we can have communication and talk. We are slowly rebuilding what we have. But the blowout that happened that day, it was terrible. I saw red, and we were in public. And I'm not dropping no names because y'all know I'm not a name dropper, but I had phone calls the next day like, yo, you went off and you were wrong for what you said. And I really had to sit back and A, try to remember, but B, understand why I was wrong when I felt that I was the one being hurt. Because a lot of times when you're in a conversation, you're in a confrontation, you don't necessarily think this person is hurt too. It's more so, these are what I'm feeling. I'm upset because of this. And I want you to understand why I'm mad at you, without trying to take into account the other person's feelings, the other person's thoughts, because F what they think, right? This ain't about them. You wanna let them know how you're feeling. You don't care how they're feeling. And You can't have a productive conversation that way. You cannot come to a resolve if there's only one side that's heard. So, long story short, I ended up getting phone calls telling, you was wrong for what you said. You tore that girl apart. And I took that initiative a couple weeks later, and I made that call and I said, yo, let's talk. And without everybody else around us, because of course the first blowout occurred in the midst of company. Of course, anytime there are people around, argument heightens because you're going to disrespect me in front of this person. Oh, nah, that's not going to happen. So her and I, we went somewhere private. It was just the two of us, and we talked. We talked out what we were screaming at each other the prior time and came to a resolve. Granted, there were other factors that came into play afterwards that I learned about later on. But in that moment, I felt that feeling that was letting me know this is good. That feeling I felt when we was out there going at it, that was not a good feeling. I've had other situations where, in the midst of hitting my breaking point, it's kind of like almost an out-of-body experience when you're looking at this person go off on you and you just don't even have the energy or interest to respond, to acknowledge, to even try to correct it. You can get to that point where you're just like, I really don't care. I don't care where you are mentally on this conversation, on this topic. I don't care if you even want to try to have it resolved. I'm done. And I've had to reach that point even with family. It's not that I don't love you. It's not that I hate you. It's not that I can't stand the sight of you, but I just can't F with you no more. It's okay. It's okay that I can't be friends with you. There are certain people that you got to look at, family or friend or acquaintance, and really sit back and think, would we be friends if we weren't family? And if the answer is no, then it's okay to just, let them become relatives. You don't have to be friends with your with everybody who's related to you. Because what tends to happen is nobody knows the boundaries are very transparent. No, not transparent. The boundaries become a little bit unstable. We see it with a lot of parent-child relationships. I'm sorry. I'm not a parent. I always love to make that disclaimer, but your child should not be your best friend. Not while they're a child. Your child can become your best friend when they become full-grown adults, or they shouldn't know. I personally, and maybe this is the old Haitian mentality that I grew up with, but your child is your child. And once you cross that line of being a best friend, then your boundaries become unstable. Because I'm not your kid no more. I'm your best friend. So therefore, I don't need to listen to everything you say. Or I can talk back to you as I please. What? Listen. And it's very much possible that all this preaching I'm doing today about not having your child as your best friend, I'm going to need someone to keep track. And when I have kids, if you hear me say that to you, go on and play this episode for me. Remind me what I said. Because like I said, I'm speaking on something I don't have experience on. I'm speaking on something that it's a life I have not yet lived. It's my own personal opinion. Because what ends up happening is when you don't have boundaries, you easily approach that breaking point. Y'all notice I keep going back to this one theme. the breaking point. Breaking points can be deadly. Well, breaking points can be tricky. My approach is I give you a warning shot. Yo, I didn't like what you did to me. You know, Medea said it best. If you tell somebody, hey, I don't like what you're doing. What you're doing makes me feel this way. If they make no effort to change that, they don't care. They are showing you they don't care. A lot of people use the excuse, oh, well, you know, that's just how so-and-so is. No. I am at the point in my life where I no longer accept that response. I don't care. Everybody around me at this point is an adult. So if you don't realize in your adult life that the way you move is not healthy, then what exactly am I doing with you? You know, I think we're all trying to grow towards the same goal. And I'm just at the point in my life where if you don't add substance to my path, then what exactly are you doing here? I honestly, and I've been having this conversation a lot lately, especially in the last few weeks, because there are a lot of people who kind of just fell off the map, right? That's what we'll title it. They fell off the map for a good chunk of my growing up. I want to say maybe the last 10 years, 10, 15 years. And now I feel like a lot of people are trying to find their way back into my life. And no shade, but I've already built the foundation for my future. I've already started working on my path, my map, whatever, you know, we want to call it. I've already started building on that, and it was in your absence. Whether it was a physical absence, whether it was a mental absence, spiritual absence, you know, there were just some people who weren't just not around, and I learned to move without you. So, of course, now that I'm in phase 2, I'm trying to make it sound like it's COVID, but, you know, phase 1 was me gathering the ingredients for my foundation. Phase 2 is building my foundation. I am almost done, in my mind, building the foundation I need. And then when I hit phase 3, it's me. I'm rocking out. And it's not as if I don't care about certain people anymore, but you just no longer have a place here. And that's because with everything that has gone down, with everything I've overcome, with everything I'm still trying to overcome, you were not there. And for the times you were there, it was always about you. Those are the people you got to be careful of. Those are the people who accelerate your breaking point. Those are the people who bring out a side of you that you no longer want to be. You're trying to grow. You're trying to get past your childish ways. And there are just certain people, family, friend, acquaintance, work, employer, employee, colleague. There are certain people who were literally placed just to make sure you can't get there. But that's for you to decide. That is for you to deal with. That is for you to understand. I can't take you with me, bruh. I gotta leave you here. I still love you, but I can't carry you no more. How you gonna carry somebody else and yourself? I'm at the point in my life, sweetheart, if I got to pick between me and you, it's going to always be me. It's going to always be me, because for the first 75% of my life, it's been everybody else. Now it's time for me to take care of me. If I got to move different, then I'm going to move different. But I've hit my breaking point. I can never see me going back to being that little girl who was everybody's go-to person. That breaking point that I hit has allowed me to create boundaries, has allowed me to stand for what I believe in and stand firm. I don't need to get disrespectful, but I'm going to nip it in the butt. I will not sugarcoat how I feel. If I don't like what you said, if I don't like what you did, I'm going to tell you right then and there. I'm not trying to argue with you. I'm not going back and forth. We two grown adults. I'm going to tell you how I feel. You can either take it or you can leave it. But we're not going to have an argument about it. We can discuss it if you'd like. But we're going to discuss it like two adults. Now, I need some of y'all to stop watching that reality TV. It ain't always got to be a show. It's okay to have a regular conversation. It's okay to live a drama-free life. I ain't got no problems with nobody. Nobody. I've had people come up to me like, oh, so-and-so got drama with you. They ain't got no drama with me. There ain't nobody call my phone. Ain't nobody call me to tell me, yo, let's sit and talk. You ain't got no problem with me. You might have a problem with yourself. You might have a problem with something I did, something I said. But until you bring that to my attention, we ain't got no problems. We're all adults. I don't fight. I'll talk, but I don't fight. So there should be no reason why you can't feel comfortable to come have a sit down with me. Yo, what you did hurt my feelings. I bet. But let me tell you why I did it. And maybe we could work towards a resolve. But if you can't be adult enough to have that type of conversation, then why would I waste my time trying to have a conversation with you? When you're ready to grow up, holla at me. I'm here. There is no way. I don't think I'm better than anybody. I'm still trying to figure out my own life. So I got to figure out my life and then also, help you figure out yours. No. I got my own struggle. I got my own battle. I got my own issues. I don't know, man. I keep singing Carrie Hilson's Breaking Point. I'm telling you, in the song, she's talking about relationships and says, every woman has a breaking point. Everybody has a breaking point. You can try your hardest to avoid getting there, but the reality is everybody has a breaking point. And it's best to try to avoid getting there. But sometimes, I know in my situation, hitting that breaking point can sometimes be a blessing. It's a blessing because it allows you to restart. It allows you to set boundaries, not only just for people, but for yourself. And there are times that some of y'all need boundaries for yourself before you can even try putting boundaries for other people. But on that note, I want to thank y'all for rocking out with me and letting me vent about breaking points. You can find me on Instagram at I_am_shenanigans, SHOUNANIGANS. What else am I on? Y'all can find me on Facebook, Shenanigans. You can find me on YouTube, Shenanigans B. I'm a little bit of everywhere. This topic is near and dear to me. Like I said, I've just been on a cutting spree. So I'd love to hear, what you guys think, about people hitting their breaking points, about having to terminate relationships, and whether it's family or friends. Some people just gotta go. Some people just need to be held at arm's length. And some people you just need at your side. How do you tell the difference? Let me know. I want to hear what you think. But in the meantime, in between time, I want to thank you for rocking out with me. And I'll holler at y'all on the next episode. Peace.